That's it. A small camera, and okay, let me try to change. And then last class we started talking about differences in some uh, kind of English, right?
Yeah.
And then I sent you a link to a guy talking about some of those differences in grammar, uh, spelling, accent, what else? Vocabulary,
Yeah.
right? So when I started reading a book, for example, let me see, right here, this one, Bernard Cornwell, right? Uh, when I got a book, the first thing I do, the first thing I do is to dust off the book, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. And then I usually come to this, let's call uh, the page where we have the information
Yeah.
about, how can I call this page? For just a second. I need my glasses. I need my glasses, right? And then it's a great idea for you to um, look at the registration, right? That's the book registration, and they usually say sometimes it's a printed in the USA, or for example, printed and bound in Great Britain. Okay, and so it is sometimes that indicates what kind of English
Yeah.
you're going to find.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of English you're going to find. But sometimes we have American that register or printed his book in the United Kingdom, right? So right here say Bernard Cornwell asserts the moral right to be identified as the author of this work. A catalog record for this book is available from the British Library. So it was registered in the British Library, right? And talking about this, then we can have some of indications that this book is going to have a British spelling, British grammar, and structure. Structure. I'm going to include the structure. Why do you say structure? For example, I'm going to open a page. So you're going to check the way they're going to, first of all, the way they're going to run the text. I'm going to use the to run the text. Like, okay, this look like. So we got some words like, for example, realize it. Yes, the first word right here, realize it. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's going to tell me that that's a British English. Because American English, probably they're going to write realize it with Z, no, not the S. I mean, one or two pages, one or two pages are going to be enough for you to say that that's American English or that's British English.
Oh yes. I don't know the all different in British and American English. I know a basic difference like soda or coffee or anything like this, but it's more basic that
Yes, but so that's some of the tricks, right?
yeah,
I'll call it some of the tricks. You look up for some words or uh, to identify the structure. I would call that literature um, traits, literature traits. Like, oh, I can read this, but that's just the way they write sounds more familiar to American English or to British English. But you have to have a very big contact,
yeah.
uh, intimacy, right, with the language. And say, oh, okay, that's look like and feelings. Let's call out feelings. Okay,
Oh yeah, yeah.
probably like, oh, an American wouldn't say a sentence like this. And then I like to introduce you. Where's the remote control? Oh, here, right? And let me come to this search. Where? Okay, here we go. If you didn't watch for this one, let's just do it little by little, and I'm going to explain. Okay, try to explain. Um, okay, let me skip this value. Hello everyone, welcome to the Lang Focus channel and my name is Paul. Today we'll be answering the question, how are British English and American English different? One of the most commonly asked questions by learners of English. And hopefully native speakers of English will learn a thing or two from this video as well. The truth is that both British English and American English have numerous varieties, in other words, various accents and dialects. So for the main part of this video, I'll try to focus on the most standard non-regional variety of each one. Disclaimer, I'm not American, I'm actually Canadian, but I'm confident that we will someday be Americans after the invasion. Standard Canadian English is very, very close to general American English, so I will say the American English samples myself, unless there's some specific need to distinguish between American and Canadian pronunciation. There are several ways in which... Okay, so, introduction. All right, okay, introduction. As you listen to Paul, you say, my name is Paul. That's okay. Probably American people say, my name is Paul. Got a Paul like this, right? But in the first beginning, you say, oh, that is British, right? And so,
Yeah.
and then even his accent. What can you do? For example, when you know that this guy accent is British accent from Canada, that is a great idea for you to say, okay, let me try to, as a musician, you say, let me try to tune up my ears.
All right.
Okay, so that is British English. Okay, good, right? And then you're going to say, okay, now let's listen to American guy talk. For example, I send you a sermon, 3 minute sermon, a channel through love. Channel through love is an American pastor. So when you listen to channel, you're going to say, oh, that sounds different. You know, the way he talks. And even though, for example, today we have the Bible.
Yeah.
For example, when you open the Bible Gateway, I sent you the link some time ago. So you say, okay, I'm going to listen to the same scripture in American English, right? So you play, and you're going to listen to, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Okay, so this is that's American English, but you play the same Bible scripture, and they say British English, then you play. But I mean, somebody's going to read the same verse, the same scripture in British accent. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Right. Okay, good. Now you say, oh, I can tell the difference between American English and British English from Britain. But between those American and British English, so you're going to have Canadian English, Australian English, Nigerian English, or,
Yeah.
so you're going to be able to identify some differences. For example, um, Nigerian English is going to be easy for you to identify. Probably they are going to say, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes on him should not to perish, but to have everlasting life." Oh, he's not British. I mean, London, Britain. He's not American, right? So it's something like probably in Dubai or Dubai, as they say, you're gonna say, "For God is the love of the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life." So I don't know why they do that thing like this, do thing like this, right? Maybe Al Jazeera or some other channel, TV channel. So your ears are going to, let's say, like gauge the word gauge your ears or tune up your ears, like, okay, that's all right. But it's not the matter. The matter is, right, the grammar, vocabulary, and some of the structure, right? Some of the structure.
Yeah.
So here we go. Um, so remember that the lesson is every time you listen to someone talking in English, you're going to say, okay, what kind of English am I going to be exposed to, right?
All right.
So here we go.
British English and American English are different. Vocabulary, accent, spelling, and grammar. Vocabulary. Let me just throw a bunch of examples at you. In the US, people generally say garbage or trash, while in the UK, they generally say rubbish.
Okay, that's right. Let's start by these two words. Can you see the TV?
Yes.
Okay, that's right. So they're going to say American garbage or trash, right? And British rubbish.
Yes.
If somebody talks to you, oh, take this paper and take this rubbish out, take this rubbish out and say, oh, that is British. But some people, some Brazilian students or some English students, sometimes they are going, if you don't know, if you're not aware about it, sometimes you're going to use a word in British English, and sometimes you're going to use a word in American English, and that's confusing because one never knows if you are, British or an American English, right?
Yes. One question. When I talk in London, for example, garbage or trash, the London people understand it or not?
Some educated, some educated people, yes,
All right.
right. If you get a student, a scholar, someone that's real educated, it's okay. But maybe I mean most of them are. But if you're maybe talk to a simple um, people, right? If you talk to simple people, probably they say, "Oh, garbage, oh, trash." So you rather explain, right? What you're talking about. It sounds like Portuguese Portugal and Portuguese Brazil, right? Some of the words are different meaning.
Yeah.
Looks like Portuguese, but they say, for example, when you're going to update your computer or configure it, they're going to say Portuguese from Portugal or Portuguese from Brazil. Depending, if you write from Portugal, you're going to have a lot of problems with the spelling and meaning and things like this, right?
Yeah.
And so garbage, trash, okay, rubbish. So that's it. So some of these words, I mean, the most used words. If you listen to this video, right? Try to get the general. Try to get the general idea. So you are going to identify.
Both literally and figuratively. The game was rubbish. Americans go on vacation, while Brits go on holiday. And that's also possible in American English. In the US, people rent apartments, while in the UK, they rent flats. In the US, if your apartment is at street level, then you live on the first floor, and the person above you lives on the second floor. In the UK, you live on the ground floor.
Okay, so that is confusing. This one is confusing. Sorry.
And the person above you lives on the first floor.
Yeah. So this one is confusing. Why? For example, imagine, right? You're going to give someone your address. So they say, "Oh, what is your apartment?" Probably in the U.S. they're going to say apartment, but in the UK you're going to say flat. Okay, that's right. So now you know the difference: flat and apartment. Good. But sometimes you're going to say, "Oh, my apartment is on the first floor." So what is going to happen? If you are in the United States, people are going to go to this apartment. If you are in the UK, people are going to go to this apartment. Imagine if when you open the door and that's not your apartment,
Yeah, it's a problem.
you're going to have a big problem. You're going to have a big problem. And they are going to call the police and say, "Oh, the guy tried to invade my apartment." That's not the problem. If the girl or the guy they were in a romantic moment, right? So you open the apartment. "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry." And now you try to explain what's wrong. If you're when the police arrive or when the police arrives, right? They're going to say, "Oh, where are you from, sir?" "Oh, I'm from the United States. I'm American." "Oh, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. That's all because of this."
Yes, yes.
So that's why, Matthew. That's why I tell my students, if I speak this way, American people will understand. It depends,
Yeah.
right? If you say first floor, okay, they are going to understand. They know what's first floor, but the concept of first floor for one and the concept of first floor for the other.
The same word have a different meaning
Yeah,
in the United States or London.
or even so, it's a different understanding.
Yeah,
What you're talking about, right? Good, right? So you probably you're going to remember this, right? So
yeah,
you get your apartment keys, okay? So you say, "Oh, your apartment is in the first floor, or your flat in the first floor." They're gonna say in the first floor, and are you talk about the ground floor? Are you talk about the ground floor? Now you gotta make it clear. Are you talk about the ground floor or the first floor? Oh, you talk about the ground floor. Okay, thank you. That's right. But probably that would be the question. Are you talk about the ground floor? Yes, the ground floor. Good. Now you make it clear.
yeah, yeah. Confirm the
Yeah, I usually do. When I was in Nigeria, I used to confirm all the time because, for example, they have a very strong accent. For example, for 13, they're going to say "tachin," and for 30, they're going to say "tachi." You know,
different.
Yeah. And so what I used to do is like, did you say 13 or 30? Oh, they're going to say "tachi." Okay, that's right. Now it's clear. They're going to say 30, or even though say 1 3 or 30.
All right.
Even when you are talking about money.
Yeah,
Let me tell you why. Because, for example, sometimes we are going to rent we went to rent an apartment, right?
yeah,
And then the guy said, "Oh, how much is that apartment?" Okay. "Oh, Tachi Naira." Okay, that's right. But when my white friend arrived, they say, "Oh, it said 30, tachi." Say no, you said tachin. Say no, tachi. Because for white people, they change the for higher price.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I try to negotiate, I went to the place, I negotiated, and then my friend appeared, came in. Because most of the time they change. And we had a big fight. And so at the beginning is okay, but little by little I started to learn, say, we better to confirm. How much is the apartment? Uh, Tachinara, Tachinara. Oh, you say 1 3? Yes, 1 3. That's okay. When my friends arrived, they say, no, I said Tachin. No. Oh, look at me. I asked you 1 3 or 3. Well, you said 1 3. Ah, now you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's right. And so you learn. You're living in another country. You're going to get their tricks. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Vocabulary, accent, spelling, and grammar. Vocabulary. Let me just throw a bunch of examples at you. In the US, people generally say garbage or trash, while in the UK, they generally say rubbish, both literally and figuratively. The game was rubbish. Americans go on vacation, while Brits go on holiday. And that's also possible in American English. In the US, people rent apartments, while in the UK, they rent flats. In the US, if your apartment is at street level, then you live on the first floor, and the person above you lives on the second floor. In the UK, you live on the ground floor, and the person above you lives on the first floor. If that person above you is unable or just too lazy to take the stairs, in the US, they take the elevator. In the UK, they take the lift. When you're bored at home, in the US, you might turn on the TV, while in the UK, you would turn on the telly. When you step outside of your building to go for a walk, in the US, you might walk on the sidewalk, while in the UK, you walk on the pavement. And if you're tired of walking, in the US, you might take the subway. In the UK, you take the underground. In the US, it's perfectly okay to wear pants when you're riding the subway, but in the UK, you'd better wear some trousers too, because
Oh, sorry. Let me explain to you about pants and trousers. Pants and trousers, right? And sometimes they're gonna say pants and for underpants, right? In England or in a British colony, probably they're gonna say pants for underpants like this,
All right.
right? So in this case, you have to make sure what you mean, not to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, not to get in trouble. So you're talking to the maid at the hotel. So say, oh, excuse me, can you wash my pants? And probably they'll say, oh, no, that is personal. That is, depending on. But the other probably like panties, right? Panties. Um, Panties are for girls,
All right.
right? Make sure you have the correct pronunciation.
Yeah. All right.
Pants, pants, panties,
All right.
right? For example, I remember once I was teaching at a school, and I explained the difference between pants and panties. And I told my students, for example, I am a man, and I am wearing pants. So you are a girl, and you are wearing panties. And there was a guy in the class, and say, "Are you wearing pants or panties?" And the boy said, "I'm wearing panties." I said, I thought he didn't understand. Oh, I guess he didn't understand. I explain again. For example, for boys, you say pants. For girls, you say panties, right? I asked a girl, "Are you wearing pants or panties?" And the girl said, "I'm wearing panties." And I turned back to the guy, say, "Are you wearing pants or panties?" He said, "I'm wearing panties." Oh, just my luck. Just and the guy said, "Oh, look." Oh, Jesus, please forgive him. But that happens, okay? But that happens. So you some words you really have to uh, be sure about what you mean, okay?
Yeah.
I remember once I was talking to an American people, and blah blah blah. We say, oh, everything you talk is like bra 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 bra, and bra 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 is a soutien in English. And the American lady said, Eduardo, why are you talking about my bra? I said, no, don't talk about your bra. In Portuguese, say blah 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 means talk 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 talk. Just talk. Okay. You're not talking about my bra. I say, no, not talk about your bra. You know. And sometimes, I mean, there are a lot of ways to make to mess things
Yeah.
up. You know, there are a lot of
Yeah.
ways to mess things up. So that's it. Trying to even when you're talking, right? Just to be careful. Some of differences, American English and British English, and then you go. Did you know about this?
No?
Right, but now you know.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
that's it, right? But let's go ahead.
Pants means underpants. And specifically, women's underpants are sometimes referred to as knickers in the UK. So when someone overreacts to something in the US, you might say, don't get your panties in a bunch. But in the UK, you would say, don't get your knickers in a twist.
Paul, how dare you be so crude? Now I can't show this video to my 6-year-old students.
Oh, don't even worry about that. They'll just watch it on their phones during recess. Going back to the word pants for a moment, it can also be used in British English as an adjective, meaning something is crappy or it sucks. For example, that album is pants. In American English, you might say, that album sucks. Accent. So for the US, I'll try to focus on general American English, and for the UK, I'll try to focus on received pronunciation. These are the accents you're likely to hear on CNN and the BBC, respectively.
Oh, TV commercial. Sorry. Yes.
R sounds. American English is rhotic, meaning that R sounds are always clearly pronounced. British English is non-rhotic, meaning that the R sound is not pronounced unless it's followed by a vowel sound.
Okay, let me explain this, right? Let me explain this. Okay, here we go. Accent. Now we talk about accent. Of course, you can distinguish the difference between American English and British English by the ears, right? But for example, some of the most known or the most clear difference is the R sound, right? And they talk about this is rhotic. Rhotic means, like say, rhotic means R. Sounds are always clearly pronounced, right? They're clearly pronounced, like a car, like an R, right? And so on. And the non-rhotic sound is not pronounced unless it's followed by a vowel sound. Yeah, a vowel sound. That's like you say. They're going to give some of the examples, right? But remember, when you say, for God so loved the world that he gave all the son, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lay down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still water for his name's sake. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy rod, okay, thy rod, like, and that's why British people say, oh, that's really interesting. But when they say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He laid me down green pasture, he lead me beside the still water for his name's sake. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The rod, not the rod. You see the difference?
yes, it's same like our essence of in Portuguese. If I tell you a city, the part or like this.
Yes, exactly, right? Some people are going to stress. Some people are going to stress the R more than, and so you say, are you from the interior, from the countryside? You say, yeah, yeah, I know that, you know,
Yeah.
and that's amazing because some people in Santa Catarina, instead of saying carroça or carro, they're going to say caro, or they're going to say carroça.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
gonna say
yeah,
carroça. And you never know if they are talking about the car is caro, the car is caro, or if the carro is caro.
yeah. It's different.
You know, that's right. And even though once I entered in Curitiba, and Lojas Americana in Curitiba, just entered the store, I was carrying no Bibles, no ties. It was ordinary, just ordinary. And the girl came to me saying, "Oh, o senhor é cliente?" I thought to myself, hey, how does she know? Because the way they say, senhor é cliente? So this, yes, I am. Say, okay, then what is your number? Say, oh, number? No, I understand. She's talking about, senhor é cliente? That's different, you know? So, depends on the way you pronounce, maybe say, oh, what you're talking about, right? That's okay. So here, let's go ahead. Let's
Listen
go
to the
ahead.
difference. My father's in the car. My father's in the car. Let's focus on two words. Father, father, car, car. Notice that the final R sound is not pronounced in British English. Father ends in a simple schwa vowel, like father. And in car, the vowel sound is lengthened in place of the R sound. Car.
Oh, sorry, it's my mistake.
No problem.
My mistake. I remember there was a in Campinas, there was a promotion for the Father's Day.
Yeah.
Because Rich is gonna say, father, my father, right? And they had a for Father's Day, they have a promotion, and you have to write a sentence and say, my father.
Juliana está com nova receita. Sabor e cremosidade sem igual. E que prova.
Listen to the difference.
Okay, my father is
My
father.
father's in the car. My father's in the car.
The guy say, my father is father. My father is father. Like, trying to change some of the pronouns. But you say, my father, right? And the guy say, my father, like American, and my father is father, like British. Just playing with words, right? Like just playing with words. Remember that song, the Ring song? The girl plays with the words like when he heard the church bells, he slept away and left and say, I hope he goes through, and he plays with the word hell and bell, things like this. So even when you're reading a poem in English, got a rhymes, okay, rhymes. It's a good idea to read poems because they have a lot of rhymes. So shine, that rhyme is with nine, that rhyme is with fine, that rhyme with nine. Okay, that's right. Oh, very good. So you're going to master your pronunciation and to identify some of the sounds, like, you know, um, good.
English is non-rhotic, meaning that the R sound is not pronounced unless it's followed by a vowel sound. Listen to the difference. My father's in the car. My father's in the car. Let's focus on two words. Father, father, car, car. Notice that the final R sound is not pronounced in British English. Father ends in a simple schwa vowel, like father. And in car, the vowel sound is lengthened in place of the R sound. Car. Now, the thing about British non-rhotic accents that I find pretty wild is something called the intrusive R. That means that people sometimes add an R sound to a word that doesn't actually have one if it's followed by a vowel in the next word. For example, in the sentence, I saw a film. In British English, it sometimes sounds like this. I saw a film. So you can hear that there's an R sound connecting saw and ah.
Get it R,
I
like,
once had a
listen.
British on-the-job trainer, and I remember she said, "Hello, my name is Paula, and I'll be your trainer today." I remember thinking, Paula? What? You can't say your own name? But it wasn't just her, that was the intrusive R. T sounds. In British English, and again, I must emphasize that I'm talking about the accent referred to as received pronunciation, T sounds are pronounced as hard T's, in other words, voiceless T sounds. In the US, they sometimes sound like an alveolar tap instead of T, an alveolar stop. This normally occurs in an unstressed syllable between two vowel sounds, or between a vowel and a rhotic sound, like an R sound. So in the US, people say butter. In the UK, they say butter. In the US, stop fighting. In the UK, stop fighting. You may have also noticed that the O sound in the word stop was a little different, which brings me to O sounds. In the word stop, the American O sound is an unrounded vowel, ah, while the British O sound is rounded, aw. Another example, hot, hot.
Yeah.
There's also the O diphthong in the word no. In the UK, no. In the UK, the sound is a schwa followed by an as in put.
Put. No.
Show.
Show.
A sounds. In other words, sounds represented by the letter A. Ah in UK English normally becomes an A sound in American English. For example, in the UK, half. And in the US, half.
Right. So it's another one that's for half. Right. Half. A half. It is 12 and a half.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 12 and a half. Half. This is some of things you have to be careful because all the times you're reading, for example, we're going to get a page here, right? And then so he's going to say, sounds like our priest. Birmo said, amused. Birmo said nothing. So she brings you here. Birmo asked, other than the need to drain my ale barrels. So it's a good idea for you to all the time. More than ever. Okay, more than ever. Right. I told him of Alfred request. Told you open. Request that I fill a treaty with Iraq and how Iraq and voice had explained their king's request, a request for fear and figure and cannot. Bermuth looked at skeptical, figured and note aren't interested in East Anglia, he said. So all the time remember I told you, for pronunciation, it's a good idea for you to take a big pen,
Yeah.
put it here on your lips, and read. Speak to me, I said to the girl. But she was unmoving and silent and empty. And sometimes students are going to say, teacher, what is that? So what happens? You're going to have a fight right here with your lips, your teeth, and your tongues.
Yeah.
So when you read, so what happens? When you take out the pen, your tongue is going to be free. Now I'm free, right? And then what is going to happen? It's going to help you to master your pronunciation. So but pay attention. This one is compactor, and we have Faber-Castell. No, it must be big.
All right.
There's some people say, why? Because of the weight, right?
Oh, yeah.
And even though big is you got 6 sides, different, right? Form, a different shape, like this one, right? So it's going to help you. It's going to help you a lot. And then right here at Bic, there is a hole.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's amazing. I was told that Bic was the shape was developed by people training how to speak, and then they put this like a pen, and now it became a pen. First of Before being a pen, it was an object for people to train like phonetic, to train like phonetic, and so they decided to put this. You know, they have this. This is why, but I don't know if it's a true story or not. Okay, you're gonna say I don't know if that is true story or not. You better say not. Then okay, like this one. Good. And Master Matthew, every time you talk, right? Try to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have any question, just or comment.
Schwa followed by an as in put. Show, show. A sounds. In other words, sounds represented by the letter A. Ah in UK English normally becomes an A sound in American English. For example, in the UK, half. And in the US, half. Words with A in British English remain pretty similar in American English. In the UK, cat. And in the US, cat. An exception is a small set of words in which the A is followed by a double R, in which case the vowel is pronounced as E in the US. In the UK, marry. In the US, marry. Because of the difference
Okay, let me make a correction right here.
in British
I'll be-
English remain pretty similar in
I'll
American
try
English.
to be
In the UK, cat. And in the US,
okay. I will try to be a little bit bold. As that guy is a Canadian, right? Maybe it's hard for him to distinguish between cat and between cat.
Oh,
American is gonna say cat like this. Oh, do you have a cat at home? How you can remember? Put one. It's longer. It's longer. Cat,
all right.
cat. Oh, I don't like cats. I prefer dogs. I don't like cats. I prefer dogs. So you added cats, you know. But if you right here, if you pay attention, he's going to pronounce the same. Oh, listen once again. Oh, where are we?
cat. An exception is a small set of words in which the A is followed by a double R, in which case the vowel is pronounced as E in the US. In the UK, marry. In the US, marry. Because of the difference, in the US, marry and marry sound the same. Carry and carry sound the same. Spelling. American and British spellings are largely the same, but there are a few notable differences. This is in large part because Noah Webster, whom the Webster Dictionary is named after, made an effort to reform English spelling in the 1700s in order to make the words spelled the way they sounded. This resulted in some spelling changes in American English.
Yeah. Guy, wrong button again. Wrong button again. Here we
No
go.
problem, no problem.
Imagine if I am in an audience. I'll be in trouble. People say, oh, come on. Again. Ah, get out, get out. We go. I'll be in trouble, right? So we're going to search. Gonna search here, American, British.
Aniversário Decolar. Descontos de até 60% para você viajar. Tchau, Felipe. É hora de decolar.
Oh, no, Hellman.
Helmut, o sabor irresistível da verdadeira maionese.
Are you hungry? I guess so.
No, no, no.
American O sound is an unrounded vowel, ah, while the British O sound is rounded, aw. Another example, hot, hot. There's also the O diphthong in the word no. In the UK, no. In the UK, the sound is a schwa followed by an as in put. Show, show. A sounds. In other words, sounds represented by the letter A. In UK English normally becomes an A sound in American English. For example, in the UK, half. And in the US, half. Words with A in British English remain pretty similar in American English. In the UK, cat. And in the US, cat. An exception is a small set of words in which the A is followed by a double R, in which case the vowel is pronounced as E in the US. In the UK, marry. In the US, marry. Because of the difference, in the US, marry and Mary sound the same. Carry and carry sound the same. Spelling. American and British spellings are largely the same, but there are a few notable differences. This is in large part because Noah Webster, whom the Webster Dictionary is named after, made an effort to reform English spelling in the 1700s in order to make the words spelled the way they sounded. This resulted in some spelling changes in American English. Most, but not all, words that end in RE in the UK end in ER in the US. For example, center, theater, meter, songbird. Some words that end in NCE in the UK are spelled with NSE in the US. License, defense, offense.
Oh, remember I showed you the book.
With O in the US. Color.
Oh, remember I showed you the book. Defense, right? So you see just a word. One is with Z and the other is S. Okay, now you're probably going to see the difference. Color, but the pronunciation is the same. The pronunciation remains the same. Like honor your mother and your father, honor your mother and your father is okay. That's right. Only the spelling. Probably you're going to have different spelling. But for center and century, right? Probably with the century university, center university. The difference in pronunciation. Okay, good.
Favor, honor, labor, etc. The ending ISE became IZE in the US. Organize, apologize. A similar change also occurs in other contexts where the S is voiced. In other words, it makes a Z sound. Analyze, cozy. There are verbs ending with L that take a double L in British English when a suffix is added. In American English, there's no double L. Traveled, canceled, marvelous. If you're wondering how the last one fits in with the others, remember that marvel is a verb, and that an adjectival suffix is added to it. Grammar. There are only very minor grammatical differences between British English and American English. Auxiliary verbs. British people use shall for the future much more than Americans, as well as to ask for advice or an opinion. Some difference in preposition use. In the US, people say on the weekend, but in the UK, they say at the weekend.
Yes, okay. Basically using preposition. Sometimes that's confusing because I had experience like this. So you try to correct a student, right? And so they say, no, I heard someone say on the weekend. And if people are going to say, I heard people say at the weekend. I respect, right? For example, I never tell my student it's wrong. All I do is they say on the weekend, and I say British, that's British, at the weekend. That's okay. It's not right. What's right or wrong? It's confusing when you say it's wrong because it's there on the book.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. It's hard because it's not wrong. It's different.
Yes. So you are. It's a big responsibility when you say that Sidney Sheldon, Agatha Christie, got Sidney Sheldon or Agatha Christie. No, they are wrong. Oh, Sidney Sheldon doesn't know English, the preposition. You say on or at, right?
Yeah.
So that is a big mistake. I'd rather say British English. So yeah, you need to have this information. And sometimes students they're going to write the word realize, and they write the word realize with ISE. And I tell them, I write down British English.
All right.
And sometimes it's amazing. sometimes a student write a composition. Write a composition about this, and I correct the preposition. In the same preposition, you say British English, American English, British English, American English. Say, man, that's confusing.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's information is important,
Yeah.
you know. And sometimes people don't know why this teacher said no. It's wrong. No, you just say British English. Ah, okay, that's right. So you have to follow only one direction.
Yeah.
Are you going to write in British English or are you going to write in American English?
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
That is, I guess the only, not a big mistake. I guess the only mistake on this is that you don't have an identity.
Yeah.
Okay? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Like an English teacher, for example, I say when I write down American, modern American English, people, okay, that's right. If I say that I teach modern American English and I say honor with OUR and realize with S, people say, teacher, are you sure you are American? You know, or I remember last class, I was talking to a girl and say, I use the word holiday, right? Oh, when are you going to be on a holiday? And the girl look at me and say, oh, sorry, I made it. I made it. When is your vacation? Oh, you talk about vacation. Oh, just my luck.
Oh, yeah.
It's because I was talking about the difference, and I made
Yeah.
myself a mistake.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. So after this, all right, I'm just giving you some hints, some clues. Okay, I'm going to say some clues. Good. I haven't got the clues or hints. I don't know. Both of them. Some words like apartment, for example. You can in the United States, if you say apartment or flat, then that's okay. But the only difference when you talk about apartment, maybe it's larger
Yeah.
than a flat, right?
Yeah.
In a flat, usually it's like a hotel apartment. You got a flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, sometimes that's confusing,
Yeah.
right? Okay, good.
And in the US, people say different from or different than, but in the UK, they say different from or different to.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 10. I have another student now, but
Oh,
but you have the video.
yeah. Yeah. I'm watching it.
Yeah, I want you to watch the video. If you have any question, now we are
Okay.
just a short distance, right? We went through 8 minutes. Now you got more 3 minutes to watch, right? In case you have any doubt or if you have any question, right? That's why I'm here.
Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. See you.
See you.
Hello, Mister.
Hello. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So here we are. So here we are.
How are you doing?
I'm great.
Great.
Yes, and I'm trying to organize here. Yeah. And are you free today?
Great.
Free?
Little bit.
Yeah, you're never free. You're never free at last, right? You're never free at last.
It's true. Me too. I'm not free now. I have a class.
Yes, that's right. And about your baby?
My baby are in my house. No,
Oh, that's okay. And then,
my wife is working this morning, but we have a babysitter.
okay, that's right. Good, very good. Now you are really free.
A little bit because I have much things to make in the seminary and the ceremony, visit. Have much things,
Many things.
many things.
And you're piled up.
Sorry,
And you are piled up.
I adapt.
Yes. Many things to do.
Yeah.
We got so many things to do. Okay, what I'm gonna do right now, what I'm gonna do right now, I'm trying to change my camera. I don't know if I can make it on the way, right? Okay, I guess I can. Okay, good. Just a second. And then for 1 second, just for 1 second, right? I'm going to record the class because today we're going to talk about British and American pronunciation. I sent you the video, the link
Yeah,
for.
you sent to me, but I don't watch it. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
you
watch.
didn't. You didn't have enough time to watch. That's right. But we have to do it. We have to do it together. So if you have any doubt, if you have any question, just talk to me.
Okay.
All right. I am on my Facebook. I'm live on my Facebook, right? And then I mean, sorry, I'm live on my um, YouTube, right? And I will be live. I'll try to be live on my Facebook too, right? But we can go ahead. And then the Paul talks about the differences from um, English pronunciation. Let's say this English pronunciation, and let's work a little bit on it. For example, you've been to uh, London, right?
Well,
So exposed. You were exposed to British English. Let me start by asking you a question. Do you notice the difference between American English and British English when you listen?
yeah. In my first week in in my cousin's house,
Okay.
I asked to wife him. Uh, this I asked it, this is water or water.
Yes.
So to me is water.
Yes, that's right.
It's
So,
different. My first experience, my first time. So,
yeah, because
but
we,
but but
uh,
last I never thinking about this difference. Understand?
yes, okay, that's
I
right.
never thinking, oh, it's different. American English, British English, or Australia, New Zealand, because same in Portuguese have much, uh, how I say, sotaque,
Oh, accent.
accent.
Yes.
And Brazil have because because is a big country, have many.
Yeah, you got many differences
Yeah,
in
many
accent.
difference in pronunciation, in words too. Here I know something macaxeira. Another place is I been,
Yes, right.
same thing but different words.
And even different words for the same object or for the same thing, right? And so that also happens in the United States. Imagine how big the United States is, right? And sometimes some student ask for a word, and so you're gonna say, "Oh, I've never seen this word before." Right? I don't know why the lights are blinking. The lights are blinking like, I'm getting in trouble. I'm getting in trouble now. My lights are blinking. Can you feel like they're blinking like this? I hope everything goes well, right? And so I'm going to introduce uh, Paul. Okay, this guy. Let me just rewind it, and let's go with little by little. If you have any doubt, or if you want to make any comment, that will be
Okay.
that will be fine.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Lang Focus channel, and my name is Paul. Today we'll be answering the question, how are British English and American English different? One of the most commonly asked questions by learners of English. And hopefully native speakers of English will learn a thing or two from this video as well. The truth is that both British English and American English have numerous varieties, in other words, various accents and dialects. So for the main part of this video, I'll try to focus on the most standard non-regional variety of each one. Disclaimer, I'm not American, I'm actually Canadian, but I'm confident that we will someday be Americans after the invasion. Standard Canadian English is very, very close to general American English, so I will say the American English samples myself, unless there's some specific need to distinguish between American and Canadian pronunciation. There are several.
Okay, let's stop here. Have you listened to?
Little bit, but I think I understand.
Right.
Uh,
So, okay. Anyway, after class, I will resend you the link. I will resend you the link. Then you can listen. But today, I would just want to focus on your experience, right? Talking about your experience. Maybe you can add some more information, right, about it, for sure, right? And then in the his talk, my name is Paul. You say my name is Paul. Probably American English, you're gonna listen to Paul, right? Paul. It's okay, right? My name is Paul. Paul. Some of the some of the differences in pronunciation. And remember, where is Paul from? Oh, he's from Canada,
ah,
right?
this guy. So
Yes. So he's Canadian, right? And he talks about a standard English. What do you understand by a standard? That means, for example, that is the registered English, official.
Official. Okay. Standard is saying general.
Oh, it's standard. It's the same of you have a sample, right? Like
Right.
for someone,
Basic.
yes. For example, we say, what is that? What's the name of that red fruit?
Right.
What's the name of that red fruit? That is an
Apple.
apple, right?
Apple.
Yeah, in all the United States, in Maine, California, Texas, Florida, everyone's gonna say apple.
Apple.
No, if you go to London, people are gonna say apple. If you go to Canada, they're gonna say apple. That is the standard. You know, I remember once I had a student, and the student was she was fighting, right, arguing with me. No, that is apple. I say no, apple, right? And then because some people think that because A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Every time they see A, they're gonna say, oh, that is no, that is apple. But teachers say A, B, C. Okay, this is the alphabet. Okay, that's it, right? But that's confusing because some words say like vacation, vacation. That's English. You know, English is not like Portuguese. That is phonetical or a syllable. It's a syllable.
This is interesting because have some words I have difficulty in some word dot. Um, I read it in this mode, but I writing is different. In Portuguese, you write it and you read it some same. The
Okay,
same,
that's right.
right? But have many words in English. You are writing in this form, but read have a form to read it.
Yeah, that is why. For example, have you? I don't know if you have noticed or you have seen American people. They come to Brazil and they start to read. And in Brazilian people say, oh, you just arrived in Brazil and you know how to read. I mean, he doesn't know or she doesn't know how to read. All they know that A, B, C, D. So you got B, ba, be, bi, bo, bu. Okay, D, da, de, di, do, do. Okay, F, fa, fe, fi, fo, fu. So what happens? If you learn in Portuguese, if you learn A, E, I, O, U, and now you the vowels. Now you got the consonants. Okay, B, ba, be, bi, bo, bu. Okay, remember that C is only ka, ko, ku. That's right, ka, ko, ku. That's right. And you have to tell them you got ka, ko, ku. And then for D, da, de, di, do, do. Okay, that's right. And now they take a book, O livro ilustrado saúde. Oh, that's okay because this one. And they say, oh, Eduardo, oh, Portuguese is so easy. I just look at them and say, let's not talk about it. Our problem is the grammar, not the spelling. Grammar. Our grammar is confusing, just confusing, in how to form the words. But the Paul's talking about the differences between British English. So they talk about accent, pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. Maybe you're going to identify. Maybe you're going to identify yourself to this video. Okay, here we go.
Ways in which British English and American English are different. Vocabulary, accent, spelling, and grammar. Vocabulary. Let me just throw a bunch of examples at you. In the US, people generally say garbage or trash, while in the UK, they generally say rubbish, both literally and figuratively. The game was rubbish. Americans go on vacation, while Brits go on holiday. And that
Okay, so garbage, okay, or trash, right? In UK, rubbish. Yeah, so that's right. Probably if you go to the United States, you say rubbish. They say, "Have you been in London?" Say, "Yes." Oh, I see that. Hey, how'd you know? Because nobody here talks rubbish like this. Okay, that's okay. Oh,
But this word rubbish, um, this word used in USA too, or never used this word.
no, the problem is that is an English word, but it's not used. They don't use it in the everyday conversation.
Ah, right.
For some people, if you talk about scholar or educated people, they will know the two words, right? But if you talk to a simple uh, passerby or street vendors or people on the street, probably say, "Oh, why do you talk about rubbish?" Oh, rubbish. Okay, that's right. Oh, that is fun. That's okay. Like for example, you say entulho. So if you tell your, for example, if you tell your wife, oh, put the entulho out. Entulho. Probably some people are gonna say entulho. What you're talking about, right? It's a Portuguese word, but nobody's going to use that word much. That's right. And like regozijar, right? If you go to the church on Sunday, say regozijei-me no Senhor. That's okay. But if you go to the clinic, if you talk to the nurse, say, nurse, estou regozijante. They say, okay, I'm going to give you some prescription. No, I'll give you a prescription. No, regozijante means I'm happy. Now I got it. I thought you were sick or something like this. Because nobody's going to say regozijante. If you open the door, say, um, quem está sentindo um regozijo aqui nesta sala? Você, regozijo? No, I'm fine, I'm okay. My stomach, my head, it's okay. Because it's not a familiar word. You know? Just the same. Rubbish is English. Right? But nobody's going to say, like underground, for example. If you say underground, people say under the ground, probably you know what you talk about. But it's not familiar. That's not like familiar, okay? So that's it. Probably when, for example, in Brazil, if you say, for example, fiteiro, you know what's fiteiro? Fiteiro talks about banca de jornal ou banca de. But in Pernambuco, in Campinas or there you say, oh, I'm going to the fiteiro. Say, are you going to? I'm going to the fiteiro. Fiteiro. So they say, what is he talking about? Or if you're going to put your clothes to assombrar a roupa. Assombrar roupa? What is he talking about? You put your clothes on the line. You put your clothes on the because like you said, we get different. For example, you're in Paraná, right? they say piá, guria, things like this, bulico. The first time I heard the word bulico, the girl said, the guy say, hey, let's play bulico. I say, what is that? We say burquinha, bolinha de gude, but they say bulico. Well, okay, that's right. So you're getting familiar with some different words, and so very good. Like you said, in Brazil we have differences in vocabulary. So in the United States of America, and from English from Brazil, and English from Brazil, Portuguese from Brazil, and Portuguese from Portugal. Some words, they get a different, completely different meaning, right? And go. Even in Curitiba, it's amazing. They have for example, I remember I was teaching, and I showed the girls a pencil case. Okay, what is this? And the girl said, oh, it's a penal. They say penal. It's okay. And I talked to the coordinator. They say, no, they don't say estojo. They don't say estojo here in Curitiba. They say penal. Oh, okay, that's right. Oh, it happens. It happens. For example, when I was to rent a house, they don't say, what do they say? They don't say cômodo. Quantos cômodos tem uma casa? They say, quantas peças? The house is one or é uma ou duas peças? Peças? No, I want to rent a house, not a car or something like this. So different in region. Okay, different in region. So So that's it.
Accent, spelling, and grammar. Vocabulary. Let me just throw a bunch of examples at you. In the US, people generally say garbage or trash, while in the UK, they generally say rubbish, both literally and figuratively. The game was rubbish. Americans go on vacation, while Brits go on holiday, and that's also possible in American English. In the US, people rent apartments, while in the UK, they rent flats. In the US, if your apartment is at street level, then you live on the first floor, and the person above you lives on the second floor. In the UK, you live on the ground floor, and the person above you lives on the first floor.
And this word is confusing.
This is more interesting. Ground floor, first floor.
And confusing.
Yeah.
Imagine you rent an apartment, right, on the first floor, and you open the door, and that is not your apartment. You are in a big trouble, right? You open the door, and people say, oh my God, call the police. Oh, this is my apartment. And sometimes when you watch some movies, for example, American people going to UK, sometimes you see they make this kind of mess. They open the door and say, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes. So you're going to start to count. First floor. This is the first floor. Okay, but in England, this is the first floor, and this is the ground floor.
In Portuguese, it's térreo.
Yes, that's right.
Hall. Used to hall.
Yes, but for example, if you're not certain, if you're not sure, you better say first floor. Oh, are you talking about the ground floor or the first floor? Okay, ground floor, sir. Sorry. It make it clear, right? It make it clear. All right. So
Okay.
make sure you don't enter in a wrong apartment, right? If the couple is having a romantic moment, probably you're going to be in trouble. They say, oh, I'm sorry. And that's it. Okay, good. Oh, you must
If that
remember.
person above you is unable or just too lazy to take the stairs, in the US, they take the elevator. In the UK, they take the lift. When you're bored at home, in the US, you might turn on the TV, while in the UK, you would turn on the telly. When you step outside of your building to go for a walk, in the US, you might walk on the sidewalk, while in the UK, you walk on the pavement. And if you're tired of walking, in the US, you might take the subway. In the UK, you take the underground. In the US, it's perfectly okay to wear pants when you're riding the subway. But in the UK, you'd better wear some trousers too, because pants means underpants.
Okay, that's right. So I have to call your attention to this, right? So you got pants, you got the trousers, okay. Pants, usually you talk about underpants.
All right.
In the US, you're going to have troubles because you talk about pants, right? Oh, what are you going to? I'm going to the park. Yes, I'm going to wear my pants. Oh, really? Oh, it's okay. But got underpants. Imagine if you go to the park, people say, no, pastor. Okay, so please, right? So what do you mean? Different from country to countries, right? And so a lot of mistakes sometimes are made because of words, you know. And I remember I was called to solve some of this problem, like date. When you say date, what's the date today? Or let's have a date. That's right. Okay, that's right. So when you say what's the date today, you're talking about your calendar, right? And when you say let's have a date, you're talking about a boyfriend and a girlfriend together. Now you're in trouble. That's right. Good. Now let's talk about pants. Let me talk to you. Girls, they wear panties.
Panties?
Yes, panties. Right? Boys wear pants and girls wear panties. Different pronunciation.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful because once I was teaching in Curitiba, right? No, it was in São Paulo. It was in São Paulo, and I explained pants and panties, right? And I drew on the board, got pants, panties, and so on, right? And I even drew a pants. I drew a panties, and I asked the boy, "Are you wearing pants or panties?" Oh, the boy looked at me and said, "I'm wearing panties." I say, "Oh no!" The guy didn't understand, and so I look up for a. Oh, where is it? I look up for a pen, right? And then I did it. Okay, let me explain. Here. I drew pants and panties. I did something like this. Oh, look. These are, okay.
Yeah.
Panties.
Panties.
Okay. And these are pants. I am a boy. I am wearing pants. And I asked a girl, student, "Are you wearing pants or panties?" And the girl answered, "Oh, I'm wearing panties." Very good. And I turned it back to the boy. "And you, are you wearing pants or panties?" The guy was a faggot. Okay, so I'm wearing panties. I said, "Oh, look." Oh my, I don't believe it. Say, oh Jesus, please forgive him, right? But it happens, right? So you have to make sure about pants and panties, right? Make sure about pants. What are you talking about? Are you talking about pants or are you talking about panties? Good. All right? And then here we go. Did you understand this? Did you get it?
Yeah, I get it.
And specifically, women's underpants are sometimes referred to as knickers in the UK. So when
Knickers, the UK. Let's put it in.
you step outside of your building to go for a walk, in the US, you might walk on the sidewalk, while in the UK, you walk on the pavement. And if you're tired of walking in the US, you might take the subway. In the UK, you take the underground. In the US, it's perfectly okay to wear pants when you're riding the subway. But in the UK, you'd better wear some trousers too, because pants means underpants. And specifically, women's underpants are sometimes referred to as knickers in the UK. So when someone overreacts to something in the US, you might say, don't get your panties in a bunch. But in the UK, you would say, don't get your knickers in a twist.
Paul, how dare you be so crude? Now I can't show this video to my 6-year-old students.
Oh, don't even worry about that. They'll just watch it on their phones during recess. Going back to the word pants for a moment, it can also be used in British English as an adjective, meaning something is crappy or it sucks. For example, that album is pants. In American English, you might say, that album sucks. Accent.
Okay, and now we'll talk about accent. Remember, I told you about accent, different accent, and so on. But let me ask you a question. When you were in the United Kingdom, right? Do you remember having any kind of problems or pronunciation problems or words problems? Never?
When I live in the UK, I was beginning to learn. So this persistence helped me.
Sorry?
This word.
What? Oh, perception.
Perception.
Yes?
So when I live in the UK, I was beginning to learn English. So I don't know. I don't have no passado.
Oh, I didn't have.
I didn't have this perception. So I don't recording much things in this situation.
Okay, for you it was normal. I mean, you have no parameters, okay? You had no parameters to say that it's British or it's British, it's American, and things like this.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Okay, so that's it. But now it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right, that's right.
So for the US, I'll try to focus on general American English, and for the UK, I'll try to focus on received pronunciation. These are the accents you're likely to hear on CNN and the BBC, respectively. R sounds. American English is rhotic, meaning that R sounds are always clearly pronounced. British English is non-rhotic, meaning that the R sound is not pronounced unless it's followed by a vowel sound. Listen to the difference. My father's in the car. My father's in the car. Let's focus on two words. Father, father, car, car. Notice that the final R sound is not pronounced in British English. Father ends in a simple schwa vowel, like father. And in car, the vowel sound is lengthened in place of the R sound. Car.
Right. So you're going to you train your ears to identify differences, right? Probably when you listen to an American guy quoting John 3:16, probably American English will go like, "For God to love the world, that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on Him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." So you got a lot of right? And then probably you're going to ask a guy from London to read John 3:16. He's going to say, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on Him should not perish, but have everlasting life." They got something like a perish, right? for God, you gotta say for God, like God, not God. For God, 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 God. So love the world. You gotta say for love the world, not the world. That He gave His only. Say He gave only begotten Son, begotten Son. That whosoever believeth on Him, God believes on Him, should not perish but have everlasting life. You know, probably some of the words you identify some of the differences, like God, God, forgotten, forgotten, son, son. You know, probably
Yeah.
understand. Yes, for sure, understandable.
This perception I have, uh, this form to speak.
Yeah, right.
This uh, I can hear.
Okay, that's right. One of the things you have to do, you have to make your choice. Are you going to speak English, or British English, or American English? You have to follow one direction, because sometimes we ask a student to talk, and sometimes they talk half they talk in British, and sometimes they talk a word like, oh, yesterday my wife asked me to put the rubbish out. I say, yesterday you asked your wife to put the garbage or the rubbish. Oh, you used to say, I mean, you're using the American pronunciation, and you're using a British word like rubbish. I asked my wife to put the rubbish out, and she look at me and say, oh, I'm not going to labor on the weekend. Oh, are you not going to labor at the weekend or on the weekend? So you make a mess. Sometimes you use a British structure, and sometimes you're going to use the American structure, and so that is confusing. Even when we talk about preposition, that sometimes the American have a different preposition for the same phrase, like on the beach, at the beach. You say, teacher, do I say on the beach or at the beach? And I usually, Eddie, I usually don't tell my student it's wrong, it's right or wrong. I just say it's British. Ah, okay, that's right.
Yeah, I think um, I think I'm I think moving to UK some years let's say à frente, alguns anos à frente,
Oh, ahead.
ahead,
Yes, some years
some years,
ahead.
some years ahead,
Yes, ahead.
right? So now I I think I need learning the English, standard English basic, but more ahead. I think in this direction to reach English. Understand?
Yes, I got it. Right, I got it. So it's very important for you to, let's say, it's very important for you to follow a line. Okay, you follow it on the line,
Right.
and you erase. Okay, some line, or even say the problem is not to choose a line. The problem is you're on a line and you go to the other line. You got British. That's sometimes that's really confusing. That's really confusing, right? For example, if you learn to say rubbish when you go to the United States, you're gonna say rubbish. Probably some people are gonna say, "Oh, what you're talking about?" Or some people are gonna say, "Okay, that's right." Or if you say underground, some people say, "Oh, underground." Okay, that's what we talk about. And so that's it. So they say differences between British and American English. And now let's talk about accent.
My father's in the car. Let's focus on two words. Father, father, car, car. Notice that the final R sound is not pronounced in British English. Father ends in a simple schwa vowel, like father. And in car, the vowel sound is lengthened in place of the R sound, car. Now, the thing about British non-rhotic accents that I find pretty wild is something called the intrusive R. That means that people sometimes add an R sound to a word that doesn't actually have one if it's followed by a vowel in the next word. For example, in the sentence, I saw a film. In British English, it sometimes sounds like this, I saw a film. So you can hear that there's an R sound connecting saw and ah. I once had a British on-the-job trainer, and I remember she said, hello, my name is Paula, and I'll be your trainer today. I remember thinking, Paula? What? You can't say your own name? But it wasn't just her, that was the intrusive R. T sounds. In British English, and again, I must emphasize that I'm talking of...
Okay, do you understand what he talked about intrusive?
Little bit, maybe.
Yeah, intrusive is a sound that we include when you're talking, for example, when you say, eu fui com ele ao parque, right? Or it's called cluster, sometimes called cluster, right? In Portuguese, you say quele, quele,
Ah, wow.
right? There is a W, quele, quele. Yeah, you know, we put it, but it's there, okay? Some words you add, right? For example, sometimes we say, for example, contente. We change E for I. Contente, contente. That's right. So we say, for example, ele está comigo. We say, está comigo, co. Yeah, you don't say com, right? Or you say com ele, fui com ele. So clusters or some words, some words we include. I mean, it's there, right?
But in this example, Paul, how this guy say that?
Paul, for intrusive.
He includes a letter.
Yeah, because when you listen, for example.
You're thinking, Paula? What? You can't say your own name? But it wasn't just her, that was the intrusive R. T sounds. In British.
Huh?
In this example, he includes a letter R. R.
Yeah, because you listen to that word, right? It helps. It helps. There are three names for that. One is intruser, as he using intruser. The one is cluster, or the other is like a what we say linker, some linkers, right?
Yeah.
For example, fique aqui comigo. For example, say that in Portuguese. Fica aqui. Fica aqui. We don't say fique aqui. So we use aqui. So you put the word cá with the word aqui. Fica aqui. So you don't say fique aqui. So fique, fica aqui. Fica aqui comigo. This is what I love in the language. This is what I love teaching. Because sometimes, for example, you never say, eu falei para ele ficar. Eu falei para ele ficar. When you talk in Portuguese, eu falei para ele ficar aqui. Para ele. And then once I was talking to a student, and he insisted on. I love when a student insists, because the guy said, "No, teacher, you are wrong." Ok? Ninguém fala desse jeito. Vamos lá. Vamos pegar sua frase. Ninguém fala desse jeito. Vamos lá. Ninguém fala desse jeito. That's right. You are using the same. Because you say, the correct say, ninguém fala desse jeito. So you say, ninguém fala desse jeito. So you get a clusters, right? For example, Nella. What do you say? Her. Cadela. We say cadela. Yeah? So you sometimes say, or panela. This, you know, depending the way you talk, you change the meaning.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, acende a luz. So you're gonna say acende a luz. How do you say that in Portuguese? Acenda a luz, acenda a luz, acenda a. So you say acenda a luz because you have two a together. A luz, acenda a luz. That's right. And so, learning a language helps you to understand your own language.
Yeah.
For example, Maria foi à escola. Why do you say a? In Portuguese, you're going to use classe. Why are you going to say classe? Because you say a escola. Maria foi à escola. Então, Maria foi para a escola. So you're going to say para a escola, but you don't want to say para a escola. Ela foi à escola. So I put this one, classe. To identify, we have two vowels together.
This assunto.
Subject.
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 This subject is the same relation contraction.
Contraction, yes. Contraction. What they call cluster. They call contracted. Yeah, contracted. Yeah, you can say contracted. Contracted. Or contraction. Yeah, you never heard of it. Contracted. Contracted form. Yes. And even in English, for example, gonna. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get. Right? I do know. In English, I was going to say I don't know. It's I do know. I do know. Right? And how are you? Howdy. Howdy. That's it. And gimme. Yeah, gimme. Give me one more chance. Gimme. A lot of words. That's it. You like, a lot of words, That's it, good. I remember the song of New Kids on the Block. I remember the song, step by step, oh baby, gonna get to you, girl. I'm going to get to you, girl. But I say, gonna get to you, girl. It's gonna get to you, girl. So that's it. Right? Go. I love this.
I'll be your trainer today. I remember thinking, Polar? What? You can't say your own name? But it wasn't just her, that was the intrusive R. T sounds. In British English, and again, I must emphasize that I'm talking about the accent referred to as received pronunciation, T sounds are pronounced as hard T's. In other words, voiceless T sounds. In the US, they sometimes sound like an alveolar tap instead of T, an alveolar stop. This normally occurs in an unstressed syllable between two vowel sounds, or between a vowel and a rhotic sound, like an R sound. So in the US, people say butter. In the UK, they say butter. In the US, stop fighting. In the UK, stop fighting. You may have also noticed that the O sound in the word stop was a little different, which brings me to O sounds. In the word stop, the American O sound is an unrounded vowel, ah, while the British O sound is rounded, aw. Another example, hot, hot. There's also the O diphthong in the word no. In the UK, no. In the UK, the sound is a schwa followed by an as in put. Show, show. A sounds, in other words, sounds represented by the letter A. Ah in UK English normally becomes an a sound in American English. For example, in the UK, half. And in the US, half. Words with a in British English remain pretty similar in American English. In the UK, cat. And in the US, cat. An exception is a small set of words in which the A is followed by a double R. in which case the vowel is pronounced as eh in the US.
So it's common for some people instead say, for example, how do we call the sister of your father?
Sorry?
Oh, how do you call the sister of your father?
Sorry, but I don't understand.
Oh, the sister of your father.
The sister or your father?
Yeah, the sister. So you have so do you have a father?
If I have a father, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Does your father have a sister?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your father's sister?
I don't remember.
Okay, is she your aunt or she's your aunt?
Aunt.
Yeah, British. American. Aunt.
Aunt.
Yes. That's it. That's right. That's it. So every time you say, oh, my aunt came to visit me. So you say aunt, probably guy from England, right? So my aunt came to visit me. Okay, that's right. Okay? Just for you to tune up.
Yeah.
That's right. You're going to be converted. You're going to be converted, right? To Jesus? No, to American English.
In the next week, I have a cousin living in UK.
Yeah. So you have a cousin. Yeah. So you have a cousin. Yeah. Cousin. Yeah. Cousin. British.
British.
American. You have a cousin.
Got it. So he divorciated to wife, and he come back to Brazil, but he have 2 children, a boy and a girl.
Are they British?
Sorry?
Are they British?
Yeah. So the boy have a
Oh, the boy has.
No. The boy has 20 years old.
Oh, the boy is.
The boy is 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
It's a little boy, a British boy. Only speak English. No speak Portuguese. Nothing. And he moved to Brazil too, with your daddy.
Oh, with his daddy.
His daddy.
Yeah, with his daddy.
Yeah. And he living here in Campina da Lagoa.
Oh, how wonderful! How wonderful! Now you are going to explore. You're going to explore your not your cousin. Is your cousin is coming back, right? So he's going to be your nephew, right?
This is a good opportunity to train more my English, right? Because he living here near me, right?
Yes, that's right. And then let me talk to you about what's going to happen. Probably he's going to change to American English. Let me tell you why. Because here in Brazil, we are more exposed to American English.
Yeah.
And for children, it's easier for them to switch. You know?
Yeah.
That's right. Maybe when he arrived, that will be British, very strong. But little by little, right? Little by little, it's going to change because I know because when I was in Singapore, I asked people, "You were colonized by England." They said yes. But your English is not British. And the girl told me, you do not speak British English anymore. Maybe because of the American influence.
Yeah, yeah. I have a friend living in UK too. He's a Brazilian guy, but he said to me, he prefer watching American films because this English is more to understand.
Oh, it's easier. Yeah, it's easier to understand.
Yeah, he live in UK, but he don't like reaching.
Yes, that's right. Yes, it depends from people to people. Some people prefer. I used to tell my students like when you learn British English, it's easy. I mean, when you learn American English, when you learn American English, it's easier for you to understand British English.
Yeah, yeah,
Because they're going to say, "For God so loved the world that He gave." You can feel word by word. You know, instead of saying, "God so loved the world and yeah, all the God and family whatsoever." Even when they are talking, even when they are talking, I have an advantage. I got an advantage because, for example, when I travel to the U.S., I was really able to speak English. My vocabulary is not that strong, but my pronunciation was very, very, very fine. Was very fine. So what happened? Every time American people listen to me, I'm talking about in the States, and people will say, "Eddie, where are you from?" I say, I'm from Brazil. I'm Brazilian. The guy say, "No, no way." I mean, why did they say no way? Because if you master your pronunciation, probably they're going to listen to you talking and say, "Oh, you're kidding me." No, okay, I'm not. Oh, I'm not. Gonna say I'm not. The problem, Eddie, the problem is I don't know why. For example, you're watching a movie. Or you're listening to someone speaking. I don't know why I say not and the students say not. But you listen to not, you say not, God, and you say God. I say, why'd you change? I never answer to this question. I never answer to this question. If I talk to students, "Oh, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee. I'm gonna have a cup of coffee." You say, "That's right." What do you say? What you gonna have? "Oh, you're going to have a cup of coffee." "Oh, I said I'm gonna have a cup of. I didn't say of. Why you change? I'm gonna have a cup of coffee. So these are small differences. Yeah, that makes people think, "Oh, say of. Oh, that's English. Oh, you say God. That's English. That's right. Oh, you say camera. Oh, camera. That's English." So that's when you listen, believe your ears, right? When you talk. So there is no mistake. There is no mistake when you say, "Oh, Eddie, can you read this for me, please?" Okay, good. What is the page? Oh, page 163. I'm gonna read. Edward rode a little behind in the vanguard, and with him was a standard beard flying over the white dragon banner. Edward Priest, Father So you're reading English. There is no way for me to relate. Other men joined us, leaving their house to follow the king's standard. Then, and that, by the time, that's not English. And sometimes students say, "But do they understand if I talk this way?" Yes, they understand. If you ask an American guy to read a book, and you go, "Okay, you read this book," he's going to say, "Yes, that's right." O mestre olhou para mim e fez 15 segundos de silêncio. Parecia que estava sendo arrebatado para os recantos da sociedade. Do you understand? It's okay, but there is something strange.
yeah.
And the question is, what kind of English you want to talk? Aquele inglês que parece que você veio de algum lugar diferente do mundo, do planeta? or you really want to talk in English, as people say, where are you from? Because, oh, yeah. So that's it. That is why I want you to watch this video again.
Right.
For next class, we go. And that's it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. Now I'm talking to Mr. Josaphat.
Now?
Right now. Right now.
Very good. Very good. See you later.
Bye-bye. See ya. Bye-bye.